Hello, everybody. I think we are live now. Hi, it's Laura Wick here, creator and founder of BodyMind Coaching. And today I have an impromptu Body Mind Your Business, just a tip, resource, tool, something to share for those of you. Oh, goodness. Okay. Hold on. Ah. Hi, honey. I'm getting feedback. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Oh, there it is. I got it. Okay. Sorry about that. You're welcome. This is live. There's things happening. Okay. Take two. Welcome to Body Mind Your Business. I'm Laura Wick. I figured out why I was getting feedback. I have people on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are joining me from today. Please let me know the sound is coming through, that you're not hearing the feedback that I was just hearing. If you could tap the like button or the heart button, that always helps me know that we're good. But I wanted to pop on here. This is an impromptu share that I have going on because I just got off I was connecting with some members of our team today, and we were talking about some of the metrics that we were measuring. And I wanted to come on here and talk about this because I know here in the world of body mind, we always talk about, listening to your body and connecting to that intuition. And as holistic practitioners, you also run a business. So having metrics is part of the process, and being able to measure those things is part of what you do. So it's not absent. So the idea of metrics and what you measure, it's not absent from the work that you do. And a lot of times what I hear from holistic practitioners and people who are here to make a difference, who care about their work, who are impact driven, a lot of times it can almost feel like measuring things in your business is at war with the work that you do. And this idea of body minding this, they actually get to live together and function together. And I want to talk about that. Sound good? So again, let me know that the sound is coming through. I see y'all joining me live. Hello, hello, hello. Now that I got myself figured out. So the first thing that I want to share is, as always, one of the things that we do here, thank you. One of the things that we do here on Team Body Mind is we are always connecting into that body brain. I don't want to go into it now. I'll do a live on this later, but we talk about here on Body Mind about how we have that amazing brain in our bodies, and we are constantly dropping down and asking, how do we want to feel? We connect that energy with our heart and the brain in our heart, and we talk and we bring that energy into our purpose. And then from there, we bring in our amazing, beautiful brains. Our logical, analytical brains are meant to support the energy of how we want to feel. And it's meant to support that purpose that we have in the world. And a lot of times what happens is, especially in a world that teaches us to go top down, it can feel like we're fighting those things. And yes, Vision Quest Center on Instagram. I love numbers too. I love playing with my numbers. It's super fun. And just remember, these three brains, that amazing analytical part of this, the numbers, the measuring, it's about bringing that into connection with how you want to feel, with your purpose, and really living that body, mind, work in action. So on our team, what we talk about when it comes to the numbers is we look at them as a story. So the numbers that we look at, when we're looking at our enrollments, when we're looking at ads and social media, when we look at numbers, I love how just going live today is super fun. When we look at our numbers, we look at them as they are telling a story. And that story is giving us feedback. It's giving us feedback to, are we aligned? Is what we envision and what we want, is that reality of what's happening? Is the story of our numbers sharing that maybe we need to pivot a little bit, that maybe something needs to shift? Is that story showing us that we're on track and that we're moving towards what we want? So the first thing that I want you to think about is, what is the story your numbers tell? Because the biggest thing that I see, and the most common mistake that I see, is that if you get hung up in the numbers, or if you're scared to look at the numbers, or if there's fear or trepidation around that, a lot of times it's the pressure we put on those numbers being a certain thing that gets in the way. Another thing that I see is that sometimes we tell ourselves a story that all these things have to happen in order for the result to show up. And we miss the point that, hold on, I'm going to rephrase this here in a second. I'm going to make that more clear. But again, the numbers and the metrics are a story. And they're showing you a story that, does it match with your vision? Does it match with how you want to feel? Does it match with your purpose? Or is it showing you a different story? Sometimes we look at, like, Facebook ads is a great place to look at this, where what we think the story is and what the metric is are two different things. And we get to make choices based upon what those numbers tell us. And for me, that has been, it's given us freedom, so that, because it used to feel like if the numbers didn't go perfectly according to plan, something was wrong. But instead, when we say, I'll give you for ads, for instance, for those of you who know about Facebook ads, there are certain numbers that Facebook ads say you want to hit. And when you recognize that those ads each tell a story, you can go into different parts of that funnel and see where it's matching and not matching. For instance, if let's say we have an ad that goes to a landing page. A great example is our Spark webinar. If you haven't watched it, thenewbodymind.com/training. So that webinar goes to a landing page. If we look at the metrics and say, hey, we have a lot of people landing on this page, but not a lot of people are signing up for the training, it tells us a story that there's a mismatch, that something doesn't align, and that we can go back and reevaluate how we want to address the messaging. So again, look at your metrics, one, right? Remember that you are taking action from that alignment, and the numbers, the metric, it's a story. It is feedback. And when you see it that way, it gives you the opportunity to make empowered choices and to shift things if they are in alignment and not in alignment. Now, the second thing that I wanted to talk about, which got a little messy there, was a common mistake that I see people make specifically with the metrics. And this is, sometimes when you give too much power to the numbers, it can feel like you have to check 5 different boxes before the end result happens. Let me be specific and give you an example. I hear like it's an if-then story that gets created with the metrics. For example, once I have X many people on my schedule, then I will raise my rates. Once I have X many people on my mailing list, then I'll make the offer for that program that I know I want to be doing. Once I enter a metric, then I will do the thing that I want to do. And what happens is I see a lot of times it creates unnecessary roadblocks for what you desire to come in, because you tell yourself a story that you have to check a certain box in order to have the result that you want. And that is not true, right? Again, the metrics tell a story, but it's not like if you become beholden to the metrics and create this if-then scenario with them, it can delay the thing that you desire from showing up. The best example of this is, I think, in sales. I see a lot of people that get caught up that people have to like a post or click on a link or watch a training before they are ever made an invitation to work with you. And it's this funny thing that we think that that's doing the business, right? Like, you have to have sales to have a business. There has to be a transaction to have a business. And again, I'll save this for another live. I fully believe that a transformation happens within that transaction. So it's a very loving thing to do. But if you're telling yourself a story that you need 1,000 people on your email list before you do a thing, before you make an offer, you're only delaying the very thing that is actually going to support the people who are out there now. Everybody starts at zero on their email list, on their social media following. Everybody starts there. And it doesn't mean you can't make an offer and you can't invite people to work with you. When I started working with massage therapists, I had 0 people on my list. 0. And I went out there and I invited people to work with me, right? And I started this thing called BodyMind coaching. I didn't wait to have the following and the list and the proof. I just knew that I had something that could transform people's lives, and I put it out there. So the most common thing that I see is people using metrics to delay what they want, right? When the truth is, right, the metrics are a story, and you can really think about how you can step in and claim what you want, and then using the numbers to tell the story of what you can adjust. It kind of flips that if-then scenario. And remember, there are people out there now who need you. Talk to people, right? Go out there, invite people. This is something we teach all of our coaches, is how to invite people into their programs. There are people around you now who need this, and don't wait for a metric or something to be measured to make that opportunity available to them. And then finally, the last thing that I wanted to share as I wrap this up is the number one thing that we measure and look for on our team is actually energy. What I care about most, especially with my team, and I have a bunch of generators on my team. For those of you who are into human design, I'm a projector, they're generators. Oh, interesting. Yes, they definitely can speak to that core wound. And I think that's how we get into those if-then scenarios. What I care about most with my team is their energy, period. It's not productivity that we measure. I specifically look and work with my team to make sure that their energy is aligned with the tasks that they're doing, with the measurements that they're taking, with the things that they're tracking. Energy at the end of the day is everything. Over productivity, over the numbers. I see time and time again that we recently shifted a lot of the roles on our team, and we realigned things with strengths and with, we use Kolbe assessments and human design in our team. So we looked at our team's roles and looked at the metrics they were measuring and realigned things so that it matched with their energy, with their human design, with their Kolbe. I care about energy. If the energy is off, I know that creates more havoc down the road than anything. When my team is lit up, even though it means that they're going to be challenged, even though it might not mean they love every single detail they do, but when the energy and the excitement to go into that project is there, I know that matters more than anything else. And So I encourage you, as you're looking at metrics, as you're looking at numbers, don't forget to include your energy as a way to have a litmus test for what you're doing. That can be something that you measure and track within your business. For the ladies out there, I have learned that mine definitely goes with my cycle. So that's been an interesting thing to measure, how I show up, especially with my cycle. So energy gets to be a part of this. And for me, that's what matters most when it comes to the metrics that we follow, is my team's energy and how they feel and how they're showing up. So again, just to recap here, number one, remember that metrics tell a story. So don't fear them. Don't get overwhelmed by them. Look at them as a story. And that's a way, and that story gets to align with how you want to feel and your mission and your vision. And then you can use those numbers to make informed choices. And that common mistake is putting the numbers before what you desire. Break that if-then cycle. You do not need 1 million followers to make $1 million. Guarantee that. I've already done that. It's true. Okay. You don't need a huge following. You don't need all these things to happen before you can have what you desire. You can have what you desire, and the numbers tell you the story, so you can fine tune as you go. And then finally, don't forget to measure your energy. That is the most important thing in all of this. Thank you for joining me. We'll see y'all later.